Hey guys, and welcome to another plugin review. Today we are looking at the Overloud EQ550. What's really cool about this is two things. You have variable EQ instead of the stepped EQ that you often get in this API style EQ. You have two mid bands, which is very useful. You also have this harmonics light, which shows you basically the harmonics that you're getting from pushing the circuitry or the virtual circuitry. You also have this Q button. Now that's really, really cool because what it does is it just solos that frequency, so it helps you dial in the frequency better, that kind of isolation, which is really, really useful. Then you have high pass and low pass filters as you do normally, and this kind of filter on and off thing here. So what we're going to do is basically put it on the sources I like to put this style of EQ on. So we're going to try it on various elements of a drum kit, maybe guitars, maybe bass, because that's where I like to use it to add punch and that kind of thing and really, really test it out. So I've got this track here. We're just going to start it off. I've just got it on the kick to begin with, and that's where we're going to start and kind of have a look at it. So the thing with the having four bands is really, really useful, and once we start playing with the kick, you'll see why. So I'll turn it off first so you can hear the kick sounds. So the drums on this have not been mixed at all. This is just raw coming out of BFD drums. But really this is the first thing I might put on a drum kit, maybe a preamp emulation, but basically to dial in the tone. So that's your raw kind of thing. So we're going to put on the EQ550 and you can hear how the harmonics affect it. So if you drive the input up, you can get more harmonics. There's no auto gain feature, which would be really cool. So let's just start off with the low band. I really like to add a punchy, real low end here. Use the Q feature, you can dial in the frequency. So I'm going to go with 50 here. Next, I want to remove some of that mid, so let's have a listen to what the mids do. So around there we can get rid of that. Add a little bit of high mids. Add a little bit of highs. Now let's listen to this filter. And off, maybe put the high and low pass filters in. Turn them on and off. And quite quickly, that is kind of a kick I like. Maybe the high can be a bit lower. So listen to the difference. Bit weeby. Maybe pull a bit more of that out and put this up a bit more. Okay, so I'm just going to put all the drums back in just so you can hear the kick in context with all the drums. Bypass. Thumpy, punchy, it's what I want out of an API style EQ. Okay, so now I put it on the snare. Let's just zero it out. So we're going to go to initialize preset. Now there are a few presets in here. I don't tend to use presets when it comes to EQ unless going for a very specific thing, because really generally it depends on your source. But there are presets in there, and I think let's have a look at preferences. And you can enable oversampling, but they don't recommend it. So snare, let's have a listen. So nothing on the snare. Let's get a little bit of harmonics in there. Just hear what that harmonics does to the snare. Bit of volume going on. Yeah, adds a little bit of richness there. And I want to find that annoying frequency I don't like. take that out a little bit. Yeah, cool. Now that makes it a bit dull. Let's add a little bit of low end. Add some of that filter. What does that sound like in the mix with the drums? And I'm going to now put it on the overheads. I think that is a good spot to put it on. The overheads are sounding just a little bit dull at the moment. So let's load that up on the overheads. So we have it here on the overheads. I'm going to solo them again like we did everything else. See what this can do. Take out some of that harshness. And just add a little bit of air. And take out this mid-range I don't really like. Don't need it in the overheads. Now normally I would probably mix overheads not in solo, but I think it just helps to show you what this plugin's really doing. Maybe we'll drive a little bit of harmonics in there. So again, all the drums together with it on the overheads, we'll just go to bypass and we'll do it without bypass and bring it back in. Bypass. So I'm pretty happy with that on the drum. So what I want to do now is just show you what we did, what it sounds like with it off and then back on. So if I bring these up, you should be able to see all of them. And, you know, I haven't put it on the toms or anything because there's no toms in this section, but the same thing would be in the toms. You can really tighten them up. We may have a look at them in a second, but quickly, you know, with this kind of EQ, we've gone from this, I'll just get drums back. To this, way punchier kick, nice sounding snare, a bit more kind of presence in the cymbals, a little bit more vibe. Let's just add it to the toms while we're here. I do want to get a bit more out of those toms. There is that roll in there, so we just solo up toms quickly. Where's the toms? Just get that section. So with the off, with the on, maybe pull back that a little bit. The drums. Yeah, a little bit punchier, you know. And I'm still not doing a lot here. You can really go scoopy and stuff with the drums there. But let's have a look at it on bass because I love these style EQs on bass. So far I'm enjoying the plugin. It isn't as kind of direct to me as the Slate one. Maybe that is just what I'm using it on. I may do a comparison between all the API style EQs I have. because they are all a little bit different features, and they do sound different. The good thing I like about the Slate is with its fixed frequencies, it's really quick to dial in. I'm not searching for frequencies. Instead, I'm just picking one and going with it and kind of making those decisions, which can help in mixing, just to make a decision, go, okay, that's what I want, bang, 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 rather than dialing around and spending too much time on that. Okay, now let's have a look at it on bass, because again, rock bass, love the API style for that. Mainly drums and bass is what I use it for. Occasionally guitars if I want guitars to do something. So that's, like I said, what we're going to be doing it on here, because to me that really shows what it can do. So this is just a straight up DI bass. So here it is by itself. Hasn't really been edited, so it's not the best playing. As I said, this is a non-mix song, but I think that's good because you can really hear what the plugin's doing. So let's drive it a bit, get some of those harmonics. I really like what those harmonics are doing. It's subtle, but it's kind of smoothing out a little bit. Now I want to cut out some of the annoying sound. It's up there. Let's cut that out, but then boost the kind of attack. Take out some of that. Maybe there. I'm really enjoying this EQ feature. It does make it easy to dial it in. And then of course some low end. Let's see how that fits in with the kick. So bypass. Yeah, very quickly got a sound I like for the bass. Okay, so here I've got it now pulled up on the guitars. I've just put it on all of the guitars, lead and rhythm and everything. Normally I would probably differentiate the guitars a bit, but that would be a whole mixing kind of length video. So I just want to see if I can add the kind of things I like to add to guitars to make them a bit thicker, a bit richer, and kind of cut through. So let's see how we go. So this is just the guitars. So maybe a bit more mids. Take a little bit of this out. Take a little of that hashy sound out, but then add in some high end again. It's not getting the direct sound I'm kind of used to getting from Slate. Maybe too many harmonics going on. A little bit of thickness. Actually, maybe we'll cut here. Don't want to overdo it. Let's listen to it in the mix. Drums are way too loud for some reason. So I'm just going to bypass them all and then bring them back in. So let's think we'll leave it there. That is the Overloud EQ550. Now, it really depends on your content, what you have, your sources, on whether an EQ like this works for you. As far as speed goes, there's a few features I really like, and I think often that's the most important thing with an EQ. Compared to a compressor or distortion plugin, speed is probably more important than character. The Q thing, being able to isolate those frequencies really quick, and being variable is very useful, but I do like the ones that are just click because it forces you to make decisions. Now, it depends on how you go with your own discipline when you're mixing. And tone-wise, I will have to compare it directly to the Slate. I find with the Slate, I can really easily get these pokey frequencies that I like, that really just add to it. This seems to be a little bit broader, a little bit not doing that, but maybe that's just this content, this mix I've got. I do need to compare it to the Slate. The low end sounds pretty good though, but it doesn't go as low, I don't believe, maybe. And the harmonics, they sound fine. They add a little bit of something quite subtle. So overall, I'm kind of liking the Overloud EQ550. Maybe it's not the end-all plugin. Maybe it is. Maybe you should go try it out. I think you can do a free trial with Overloud. I haven't checked. So thanks for watching. As always, please like and subscribe if you're not a subscriber, which most people that watch my videos aren't, just so you can get more and more videos. And I'd love any comments below on any other, if you want me to do some comparisons with this Slate and other things. I think I've got waves as well. And the API style EQ. And if you want on a different source, maybe, because this is what I use it on, but other people use it on, different things and might want to hear on different sources. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.